Hi, this is Doug Schneider. Welcome back to Real Hi-Fi. In the previous episode, I talked about our recommended reference components, and in it, I used the Focal Cora 806 as an example of one of them. The Cora 806 sells for, in the United States, $990 per pair, so say $1,000 per pair. In this episode, I wanted to talk about what you can expect from speakers priced around $1,000 per pair compared to speakers priced, say, $10,000 per pair. But before I get into how much of a difference you can expect, I want to preface it with two really important points. One is that I'm talking about, when I say going from an inexpensive speaker to a much more expensive speaker, I'm talking of the same size, roughly, and driver complement. So in this case, I'm not talking about going from a stand mount speaker to a floor stander. Instead, one stand mount speaker of roughly this size and driver complement to another. But if I had a floor stander sitting here, the same general things I'm talking about would apply if you moved up to another floor stander. The other thing is I'm talking in these generalities of well-designed loudspeakers. And this is really important in hi-fi because there are a lot of really poorly designed loudspeakers out there for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. So when I'm talking today, I'm talking about speakers of roughly the same size and driver complement, moving from one to the next, and well-designed loudspeakers. With all that said, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that a pair of $1,000 stand mount speakers that are well-designed will get you 80%, if not more, of the performance of similarly sized and configured stand mount speakers of any price. And to some you might go, whoa, that's impossible. I can't believe you could get that much. So why is it that a relatively inexpensive pair of loudspeakers can deliver so much? And that's because you have to look at what the job of a loudspeaker is, and it's simply to move the air, and it's how well it moves the air. And skilled designers can move the air, and that's what we hear, in a very controlled and deliberate fashion for not that much money. And other things are dictated not so much by price, but by physical attributes. And let me explain one of them, bass extension. How low a loudspeaker can reach into the lows has not so much to do with price, but the internal volume of the enclosure and the size of the bass driver working with it. Likewise, the high frequencies come from the tweeter. Good, modern, inexpensive tweeters today can easily move air past 20 kilohertz. Then there's the overall tonal balance of the speaker, how neutral or uncolored it is. As evidenced in this loudspeaker, Focal's designers got a good neutral balance. And these are the main things we hear: the frequency range of the loudspeaker and its tonal balance. So what you get when you spend more money, besides a better appearance, are basically refinements to that sound. So what are some of these refinements they can make? Let's say with a higher budget and therefore a higher price speaker, they not only make the cabinet nicer, they also round off the edges, and that can reduce what's called diffraction, which can clean up the sound. It gives a cleaner wave launch for the drivers. They might also make a sturdier cabinet that can reduce resonances and therefore distortion for a slightly cleaner sound. Likewise, more money might mean improved driver motors, diaphragms, or whatever parts for lower distortion, higher output, whatever. The key is they can refine all these pieces in a meaningful way and improve the basic character of the sound. But right now, I wouldn't be surprised if some people are wondering why they would pay that much more for small improvements. And there's a reason I use the words meaningful way, and also why I brought up $10,000 at the beginning of this video. I have a story about that. To audiophiles, small improvements may mean a lot more than, say, 20% of overall improvement suggests. And it's what audiophiles strive for, and our own writer, Diego Estan, is a perfect example of that. Diego reviewed the Cora 806, and he also reviewed the Focal Sopra No. 1, which is priced at about $10,000 per pair. And he had listened to both of them at length, loved them both, and phoned me and said, the 806 comes scarily close to the Sopra No. 1. Scarily close in meaning it has most of the attributes of the Sopra No. 1. And that's not really surprising because it comes from the same company and presumably the same design team. They're cut from the same cloth. But at the end of the day, Diego bought himself a new pair of speakers, and you know what he bought? Sopra #1s. And why would he do that if the 806s came scarily close? It's because he's an audiophile in pursuit of the ultimate in sound quality. And for those people, and that includes me as well, small improvements in sound are that meaningful, and it's why many expensive speakers are worth it. In closing, the most important point I want to get across is that in hi-fi, whether we're talking speakers or other components, the point at which diminishing returns set in is much lower than I think most audiophiles are aware. So for those people shopping for speakers but who don't have thousands of dollars to spend, don't worry about it. I am confident you can get something outstanding, something that gets you almost all the way there for a much lower price than many people think. And for those people shopping at a much higher price, if they haven't done so already, I encourage them to shop at much lower prices just to establish a benchmark of performance to decide for sure if what they're paying more is really going to be worth it for them. Thank you for watching.